The famed Jerry Glanville NFL Films Wired soundbite. Him telling a referee that is not performing in a manner that Glanville finds acceptable, tells the referee that the National Football League, the NFL, also stands for not for long.
Not for long. When you make calls like that.
And this is why, again, Overreaction Monday, I think, is such a great segment for us. Is it just you live in the moment, you react in the moment, and the moment can absolutely change. Like, for instance, 1 minute, 1 week, you're losing so badly in the Superdome that you're wondering if the new coach knows what he's doing, and you're wondering if the first overall pick that you drafted the year before is really the guy. And the Carolina Panthers go back home licking their wounds after losing 47-10. And the Saints move on and go to Dallas and boat race the Dallas Cowboys and put up 44 points in that win. And you've got 91 in 2 weeks. You're 2-0. You're atop people's way too soon power rankings. You're 2-0. And the Carolina Panthers go home and get spanked by the Los Angeles Chargers. And then suddenly they're benching their first overall pick, seeing what Andy Dalton can do. And then smash cut to 2 months later. And because their division opponents are playing again. And Bryce Young is now back in as the starter, having earned another start after an emergency start brought about because Andy Dalton, God forbid, got into a car accident with his family in the mix as well, and everybody, thank God, all right. Bryce Young gets a start, and then he gets another start, and they're calling it, hey, he showed enough moxie. Nobody really asked that, and at least in my estimation, is Andy Dalton ready to go? I mean, could he have gone? I mean, whatever. Long story short, doesn't matter. But Bryce Young is playing against the Saints again. And the New Orleans Saints haven't won since going 2-0. Part of that because they had to play an unready rookie quarterback because Derek Carr got hurt. But Carr's back. Said, don't call me the savior. Well, good thing nobody did.
Oh, come on.
I'll be honest. What? I'm just.
I get it.
I guess Michael Thomas is definitely not calling him that.
Oh, man, where did that come from?
These are all facts. I'm not pinning anything on Derek Carr. The whole thing, soup to nuts, is falling apart for the Saints.
Yeah, big time.
And the team that you eviscerated 47-10 in your first outing with them now has more wins in the last 2 months than you. Or as many, if you want to, leak it back to week 2. And Bryce Young was the one who took victory formation for the first time this year and feels redeemed and is heading off to Munich, and I will see him next week, coming off of a win. That caused the Saints to call Dennis Allen into their offices and say, you're fired. And you could kind of see it coming. You could kind of feel it coming. A lot of people thought that he was the one on the hottest of seats entering the season that got cooled off with a nice 2-0 start with a remarkable offensive output that, by the way, caused us to have him on the show. We'll always admit when there's a Rich Eisen Show bump. Hopefully he's not blaming us because after appearing on our program, they didn't win. And certainly you got to have a sense of it because Derek Carr is a good quarterback. And they do have Alvin Kamara, who just came up with a game with 155 rushing yards and 60 receptions. Last player to have 150 yards and 60 receptions in a game for the Saints was named Deuce McAllister 21 years ago. And the Saints outgained the Panthers by 150 yards overall, ran for over 150 yards, and won the turnover battle. Bill Barnwell of ESPN pointed out that over the last 20 years, teams that did that in a game were 275-0.
What?
And now they're 275-1.
Whoa.
And you just lost to the Panthers, who you beat by 37 to be the first one to ever lose in that situation. And maybe that's why the Saints went ahead and said, we need to see you. The statements today from the New Orleans Saints and Gail Benson, the owner, talked about this decision is something I felt we needed to make at this time, and the usual nothing but the best. He's been extremely loyal and professional. Mickey Loomis, the executive vice president and general manager, who I believe is now in the mind's eye of Saints fandom, wondering if he's the right guy. He talked about how there was an avalanche of industries and it took its toll. DA never offered excuses, fought each day for this organization and his team, and that's what makes today disappointing. Yeah, I mean, he was the guy who Loomis said when Sean Payton, quote unquote, retired and took a sabbatical. He's the one who goes, let's just stick with Dennis. And my gosh, what a fire it is, the dumpster variety in New Orleans right now. And during the game, I mean, Chris Olave, who had concussion problems in college and then came back from one, gets carted off with one. And then one of the most successful offensive players during the Saints' run with Sean Payton in can't guard Mike Thomas, college Ohio State Buckeye, fellow Buckeye, he's tweeting out nonstop about Derek Carr and how it's Carr's fault for getting his receivers hurt with some of the throws he's making to avoid contact and being hit himself. It is ugly. Ugly. Derek Carr had to respond to that after the game. Talking about, like, I don't know what I did to him. I have love for everyone. I actually try to reach out to him. He has my number. I played with a bunch of guys. He's the only one I've ever played with that's got a problem with me. Carr's got to be looking around saying, I left Vegas to come here. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was there when they fired Dennis Allen in Vegas or in Oakland. And now I'm sitting here and Dennis Allen's getting the gate here. But, yeah, the injuries definitely didn't help. But this is what we would call a full-down teardown, I would think. And I don't know today, like, if I'm anybody in the NFL that needs, like, Cam Jordan or needs they're not trading Kamara. They just extended him. I mean, would Tyrann Mathieu want to come play for me? I mean, they have some lion-hearted individuals there. Would Marshawn Lattimore be available if healthy? I don't know. So it's like, hey, Mickey, I just saw you put out a statement. Is your phone working today? Because
Yep. I mean, they're getting calls today for sure.
Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because this thing's a wrap. I don't know. I know our director, Don Bowie, is a diehard Saints fan. He has been angling for this for a while. Totally tell us out of school, Don. So is every Saints fan. They just want this thing torn down, and let's get back to what it was when Sean Payton was here. Listen, and the side of the football that Dennis Allen is expert at, the Saints, they've allowed 30.8 points per game since week 4. Their 7-game losing streak is the longest since Mike Ditka was the coach in 99.
Wow.
They were 3-13 that season, and that was his last year there. They hired Jim Haslett, and then Mike McCarthy is the OC the following the 99 season, and then they made the playoffs in 2000. We all know Sean Payton showed up, and the problem for Dennis is that Sean Payton was 58-23 in the 5 seasons before he began to think about tapping out and leaving. 27-21, they were 58-23. And then he left. Good Lord. Sorry to hear it. Don't like it when guys lose their gigs. It's Pretty tough day in that world.
Second one already now. Week 9. We're just 2 down. Many more to come, though, unfortunately.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.